Hey folks, and welcome to the Pipnotic Symposium on the 15th of October 2025. Today I wanted to talk about something I've been pondering for a couple of weeks, and this is the whole concept of cycles. And as many of you may know, I kind of like the whole concept of cycles because I think everything observable by us works in cycles. It can be the wind, it's the seasons, but also to moons and to sun flares and whatnot. And this whole concept of lunar cycles really took my fancy. What I want to do is I just want to show you, this is just a random, this is Cardano crossed with the American dollar. And I want you to notice that I've noticed that sometimes we see turning points in price. Up here, down here, up here. We don't know what's going to happen just here, but you can see that we get turning prices a lot. Kind of wonder, well, what is it about these turning points that causes price to turn? What is it? Why is price turning there? And obviously you can say, well, it's, supply and demand, the way liquidity is distributed in the market. It can be all of these things, but it can also be maybe something that's a little bit grander, something that's bigger, that affects not only asset prices but everything, the moods of the people who are engaging in the market, the energy in the environment that is affecting everything within it. And so this whole concept of lunar cycles is just something that's really has me lit up at the moment. So I made this tool that I'm working on to try and understand this. And what it does, just to explain the different components, at the bottom here we have the histogram, and the histogram just shows us when things are meeting. And so the more things that align, the higher the histogram goes. 30 or above seems to be the sweet spot. When the histogram reaches 30, price often turns at these price points. And this is based on the angle of the moon and the sun relative to one another, the phases of the moon, all sorts of stuff. And a lot of it I didn't understand 2 weeks ago, but now I'm beginning to understand it a little bit more. And if you consider, like in science class when we were all kids, normally there was let me turn my telephone off. Normally you would have a model, and in the middle there'd be the sun, and then you'd have all the planets around the sun. And the planets would rotate around the sun at different speeds, depending on how far away they were from the sun. And then some planets have moons. We have a moon. Many of the other planets have moons. Some of them have more than one moon. And so the rate at which the moon circulates around the Earth affects different forces on Earth, which I think is pretty mind-blowing. So the new moon is when it's small, it's very, very small, like a little slither. When you look up into the sky and you can see only a slither of the moon, that's the new moon because it's brand new. This is the full moon. This is when it's completely illuminated, which essentially means that the planet Earth is not between the sun and the moon. What I've done here, I've made this little tool that I'm still working on, and I made it just to help me understand why and when asset prices are affected. And what we can see here is when we get this reading of 30 here, we get turning points. Look here, turning point, turning point, turning point. Another one. We have two more here. You can see all of these areas, these 30 readings on the histogram, they result in big turning points. And these are projected into the future. You can see here, upcoming noteworthy alignments. And on the 16th of October, we have a new moon. Here we have this reading. So here we have 40, 44, here we have 30. This enables us to plan our trades. And so we can think, well, tomorrow here on the 16th of October, something might happen. And so what I've learned to do, I've learned to look at a price chart and wait for prices approaching buy or sell zone or an area of supply and demand. And if this happens on these days for this asset, well, then there's a very high likelihood that something is going to happen. And if we have a look at Bitcoin, and we have a look once again, here we have 30%, 30 points rather, 30 points, 30 points, 30, 30, another one. Look how these turn around, reversal. They all happen at reversals, which I think is really amazing. So essentially, what you would expect to happen is when prices are moving higher, if they're moving higher and the histogram reaches the level of 30, then there's very high likelihood that prices move away from there, especially if there's something observable to the left in price. When this coincides with an area of supply or demand and a histogram reading of 30, then there's a really good likelihood of prices turning around. And I think this is absolutely mind-blowing. It's absolutely mind-blowing. And the reason I think it is because I don't understand it. And I don't really like stuff I don't understand. Normally I just don't talk about them if I don't understand them. But this is so fascinating and it's so consistent that I really, really want to understand it. I mean, look here. Here we had, this is the CAD Japanese yen. Here we had, the moon was in Gemini and it was a new moon. Okay, and the reading was, what is the reading? That's 50. That's huge. We had a turnaround, a big turnaround. Here we had another really big turnaround. And here we had another really big turnaround. And so it makes you wonder what happens in the future when this goes back up to here. I mean, what's price going to do there? Well, I'm pretty sure it's going to turn around because that's what it's done every single time in the past. And if we add a couple more data points, and when they go really high like they have done, I mean, here, when we were here, well, we just kept going up. We didn't turn around, but here we turned around. Here we turned around, went up. Here we turned around and went up. We did it here as well. We went down, we went down, we went up, we went up. I mean, this is incredible. This is really, really incredible. And so what we can do here again is we can observe these patterns and analyze that. Let's see what we have. Wow. I mean, look at this one. That was incredible. Here we have a new moon. I mean, that was the beginning of a huge run here. Okay, here we have a new moon. This is the beginning of a huge run lower. And here we have the same here. I mean, this was a big run. This was a big run. This was another new moon, and a really decent run back up into supply here before we had a huge sell-off. I mean, there's something there. There's something there, and it's so clear. I just have to figure out exactly what it is. Anyway, I will stop rambling, but I hope you found this interesting. No, this dashboard is not available. This is just something that I'm building. When I'm done with it, then I'll make it available. And the reason actually I started doing this one and I didn't finish the other one with the numbers is because I kind of forked into this from the numbers. You can see, yeah, they look a little bit different. This one actually seems a little bit more valid. Where we managed to pick up the bottom here. This is a digital root, which is 3. This is 5. This is 6. And these are all, these are all the colors that relate to the numbers that I kind of see in my mind. So it's super fascinating, really, really fascinating. When they converge with a confluence, of multiple time frames, with the digital root of a time. And then for the bigger time frames, the daily and the weekly and whatnot, well, then there's a lot of reasons to think that if you can combine this with the lunar cycles, that there is like a real reason for this stuff to pan out. So anyway, pretty mind-blowing, very experimental, very new for me, to be honest, but I'm really enjoying the journey. But I'll keep you all updated, and as this dashboard, if they ever become useful enough to the point where they're giving us alpha, then I'll make them available to everyone. Okay, good. I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching.